Well, hello everyone. Sorry about the delay. Had some technical difficulties. I think everything is figured out. If things don't feel figured out, let me know. Hopefully you can hear me and see me. So hi, hello. My apologies. Here we are. Great. Happy Friday, everyone. So, today, on this live stream, we are going to talk about opening numbers. And specifically, we're going to talk about Belle from Beauty and the Beast and do a deep dive analysis into why this is perhaps the best opening number in the entirety of the musical theater canon. Now, I know that's a big statement, and a lot of you will have feelings about it. I look forward to hearing your feelings about it, but for my money, I love this opening number. In fact, this opening number, this entire show, is well beloved in my family, to the point where I think my family, if we sat together in a room, could probably still do the entire opening together. We used to do this. Yes, I'm not the only musical theater nerd in my family. So, hi, hello, and welcome. We're gonna talk all the way through, do a big old song analysis of the song, and I'm gonna start off by saying that yes, I am aware. It is also a brilliantly set up number by the prologue of this show, which we must take some time on another day to dissect because it is worth it. Very, very worth it. But this number on its own does an incredible job of doing what an opening number needs to do. So we're going to look at the many facets of the song, what it's doing, how it builds the world, how it begins to establish characters, and much more. If you can't tell, I'm still catching my breath from that moment of technical difficulty. I kind of thought this live stream wouldn't happen. But here we are. And again, hopefully you can see me. So, and hear me. I guess hearing was the bigger problem. So, here's to hoping. So, if you do not know me, hi, hello, I'm Michael Ratty, aka Musical Theater Writer Guy, and I am the founder of the Musical Theater Writing Collective. I'm a musical theater composer, lyricist, librettist, musical director, vocal coach, and many other things, in addition to being an educator here on YouTube, and in my courses, inside the collective, coaching, all sorts of stuff. So if you're joining me live, please feel free to ask questions, comment along, and we'll make this an open live discussion. If you are watching on the replay, comment your thoughts as you are watching back through. I'm curious to know always what you all in the community are thinking. So these live streams take place usually every other week, unless I did an interview, in which case that interview may drop instead. And these are the off weeks from the regular edited, scripted sort of videos. So, diving into song analysis. Let's do it. Oh, by the way, I do Ask Me Anythings at the end of the hour when I have these live streams going. So, I'll try to give the full hour, and I start about 8 minutes after. So, I'll do my best. So, what are we going to talk about when we're talking about song analysis? We're going to talk about the placement of the song in the show. We're going to talk about what it's doing, what it's saying, how the music is working, how the lyrics are working, any dialogue, the structure of the song, atmosphere, subtext, musical world, the journey, all these fun things. So, buckle up. Here we go. If you're not familiar with Beauty and the Beast, I'm sorry. You should be. No, that's rude. I won't say should, but it is a staple, and I think it's really well written. The team that was Howard Ashman and Alan Menken was a beautiful and wonderful team, and we obviously, for so many reasons, lost Howard Ashman far too soon. But I really think that Alan Menken put a gigantic stamp on musical theater in general, especially in the contemporary world, and deserves a lot of credit for it, because he was a big influence on me, and a big influence on a lot of other people I know as well. And obviously, a large part of the Disney Renaissance era of animated musicals, which, something we talk about a lot. So, let's dive in. we have that entire prologue. I'm not going to play the prologue. And then we get our lovely moment of like birds chirping. And we get that, all that fun stuff. I'm going to skip over to where Belle starts singing. She has here, little town, it's a quiet village. Oops. Every day, like the one before. Little town full of little people waking up to sing. And yes, this is the animated musical movie version, not the stage Broadway musical version. Not a lot of change, not a lot of difference between the two. Here's what I love about that opening. Besides the fact that it's so pretty, right? It's just cozy, comfy, right? We're using a lot of pedal tone. We're keeping that C going strong here. We are in 3/4. We transition into 2/4, which is taking us into the cut time of the song proper, right? But also we learned a little something about Belle right here. This is the first time we're seeing her, first time we're meeting her. We have her singing on the lower side. Yada-da, yada-da-da-da-da. A lovely effect because it has the singer kind of naturally being on the quieter side. Very talkative feel, despite the fact we are singing. Obviously, Belle's opinions in this song have received a decent amount of criticism since YouTube has been a thing, and rightfully so. She comes off a bit cocky and thinking she's above everyone else in her word choices, which I don't know if that's wrong. It does seem to be a little bit part of the character, but we can talk more deeply about that as we pull through her journey. So we have the lyrics here. Little town is a quiet village. Sounds pretty and peaceful based on that music. Every day like the one before, which sounds just by words like maybe that's not a good thing, but the music kind of fills it in. It's like, oh, that's a lovely thing ultimately. Maybe not what she wants, but it's a lovely thing. Little town full of little people. That's where it becomes slightly problematic, right? To say everyone is little people. Waking up to say, and then we get into our bonjours. So, all right, we have waking up to say bonjour, 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 bonjour. And we're going to pause there for a moment because a couple of things. Number one, if you didn't know we were in France, hopefully you now know, right? I mean, in the prologue, it seems somewhat clear that we're in France, but now we are saying literally bonjour, so that's a lovely thing. This ta-ta, 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 ta-ta is going to come back later, so we're setting up now. I love a little bit of seeding, and the call and response of da-da, da-da, and then together, da-da, 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 right? That is what happens toward the end of the song. As a spoiler, sorry about it. But also, this is the first time we're getting the main theme here, this, right? And Alan Menken loves to pull a little bit of Lydian mode. For those of you who do not know what Lydian mode is, it's where instead of a major scale, you raise the 4th degree, right? So we're not changing the key, we're just adding a sense of Lydian in there. It feels lifted, it feels somewhat joyous, it feels a little bit off, kind of quirky, kind of whimsical, right? And Alan Menken does this all across the Disney canon, so we have this, and we will do that little thing a lot throughout here. Now, we get into our first actual sung section. Is it a verse? Is it a chorus? What is it? I don't know. Let's find out. So, I've never played this song before. This is gonna be fun. Here we go. Look, there she goes like a whoop. No. I was reading the wrong lyrics. I was like, that's not right. Belle sings first. There goes the baker with his tray like always. The same old bread and rolls to sell. Every morning just the same as the morning that we came to this poor provincial town. And then we don't get to finish it. The baker finishes out this little section. Good morning, Belle. Which actually feels like it's not setting up fully that section, but it is. We are actually putting the word Belle exactly where it's going to go in the rest of these sections. I mean, the name of the song is indeed Belle. And it's about Belle. So, we are putting it there, where it's going to come back around and feel like the hook landing spot. But the first time around, it feels like instead she's kind of getting cut off, right? Poor provincial town, good morning, Belle, good morning, monsieur. It just kind of goes straight into the scene. It's really well done. A few things about the music here. We have a beautiful melody. So for you composers out there, there's a delightful little trick you can utilize. Alan Menken loves to do this. He's not the only one. Stephen Schwartz does this a lot too. Kander and Ab do this, where the melody starts, then the next half of that section kind of feels like we're doing that melody again, but starting on a different note in the scale, different scale degree. So the third, we're starting on the root, but then we have to end it differently, right? And that's the first half musically of this section. I think that's really cool. It's effective. Feels like we're doing something familiar already. Granted, these musical sections don't grant a lot of real estate to the lyricist. Gotta be pretty efficient. But Howard Ashman, he's efficient. Very good lyricist. Ah, what a great team. This entire show's score is so good. The movie. I have some issues with a couple of the songs in the Broadway show. That's for another day. And after we get same old bread and rolls to sell, we actually get the reverse. Before we had do ba now it's gonna be reversed. Still using that Lydian, so it still feels whimsical. But the lyric we just said was, there goes the baker with his tray, like always, the same old bread and rolls to sell, which, again, feels very insulting to the baker. But the main point of that is that Belle's a little bit bored with how normal everything is, right? So instead of this feeling uplifting and whimsical, it's kind of, we're pulling down, right? We're kind of being grounded somewhere. And that's kind of how she's feeling in this moment. Then we get something very interesting in the second half of this musical section. We have melodically first, every morning's just the same. And then we're going to pull that little trick again, starting here. It says the morning that we came. Right, we start on the G the first time, we start on the F the second time. And it's lovely. I love that trick. It's so good. Then to this poor provincial town. Now, if we're assuming that C is still our root, which it's not technically at this moment, we have changed tonality, but if we were to assume that for a moment, that would make that a C minor move, right? There's something kind of unfulfilling in a lovely way about the end of the melody of these sections as we head to the word Belle each time. And it's a descending pattern. But we, instead of it coming across minor, we change tonalities. So we have this every morning. We were just in C, and now we're in E flat tonality. Every morning, just the same. Heading to a B flat moment, so we can go to D flat. Oh, we have left our key, and we're gonna have to find our way back, which is fun. Right? Since the morning that we came. Now we're finding something in A flat, which is where we start this da 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 in A flat major. Da da da. But that's crunchy and kind of minorish. From this poor provincial town. Back to that A flat feel. And then we have to somehow finish it out and find our way back. So we take this to a G7, aka the 5/7, back to C, right? So musically, we are taking a journey out of the realm that we are in, out of the scenario, but we wind our way back exactly to where we started. Kind of like Belle. right? She takes her journey and she ultimately ends up where she began. Multiple times in the show, right? She leaves the town, is in the castle, but she ends up back in the town. But also, if you call the castle her new home, she leaves the castle and then comes back to the castle at the end. Right? There's always this leaving and coming, leaving and coming. Anyway, it's fun musically. So again, what that sounds like is after that little interlude of every morning just the same, the morning that we came to this poor provincial town. Good morning, Belle. Good morning, Monsieur. And then we have this lovely little scene, which I will go through. Just want to point out real quick here, we have this melody happening in, I think, the first time around. Is the first time a cello? Or is that later? I forget which instrument plays it the first time. But we have this lovely. That's going to come back over and over throughout the show. We're setting it up now. Again, it has that whimsy feel. We are doing that over C. The melody itself kind of sounds like it's in D or in G, right? It could, I mean, likely G because we're in the key of C, but this. The F sharps being put back in there again. That's that raised fourth. That's that Lydian feel. We love it, right? So it's just so whimsical. Right. So what is this scene we have? Good morning, Belle. Good morning, Monsieur. Where are you off to? Oh, the bookshop. I just finished the most wonderful story about a beanstalk and an ogre. That's nice. Marie, the baguettes. Hurry up. Getting a sense of that monotony that Belle was talking about now, right? Lovely, fun. What do? We circle back, we do another verse. Now it is the townsfolk singing about Belle. Belle has set up her own music, now it's being taken over. Because we're still here, we're still in this town. The townspeople are the ones who are going to tell us more, not only about themselves and this place, which they're gonna do, by talking about Belle, right? There she goes, that girl is strange. Michael, look at your key, here we are. Look, there she goes, that girl is strange. That's, I think, incorrectly written. That's fine. Strange, no question. Dazed and distracted, can't you tell? Again with the same music, little interlude there. Never bored of any crowd, cause her head's up in a cloud. Is what's written. I know that that's not always the rhythm that is sung, but that's what's written here, because Howard Ashman knows what he's doing. Because her head's up in a cloud, no denying she's a funny girl, that Belle. Great. So what are we saying about her? Look, there she goes, that girl is strange, no question. We all feel this way because we're singing it together, right? We get a sense the town looks at her like an outcast, kind of way that she looks at the town is like not her jam, right? Dazed and distracted, can't you tell? They call her dazed and distracted. I don't think that's how she would consider herself. I don't think that's what she would say. But we're learning a lot about the personality of the people in the town here. Never part of any crowd. So she's not really joining what everyone else is doing. Important info, right? She doesn't have anywhere she belongs. And then they say the reason. Because her head's up in a cloud. Huh. So because she's a dreamer of some variety, that's why she doesn't belong? Interesting. No denying she's a funny girl, that Belle. A funny girl. Interesting. And then that's where Belle lands, right where the baker said, good morning, Belle, right? Funny girl, that Belle. But this is the first time we're truly landing the tonic. And it feels like, great, now it's time to go somewhere else, which we're about to. Something I forgot to mention before when we were talking about this move. It's also happening as we're rounding back through these tonality changes. Da, 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 da. There's one. Cause her head's up in a cloud. There's another one. Though, that one's in the key signature, not with the Lydian feel. nice little toss back way to get back around. It's so well written. And I just want to point out, that is not a 32-bar chorus. It feels complete like a 32-bar chorus. What? How many bars? 6? 12? 15? 16, I guess. 15, 16 bars as a section. It feels very complete. Again, not a lot of real estate to say things, but it's part of why it's going quickly, why the scene moves quickly and is able to, right? Because it's efficient. So good. Anyway, by the way, don't forget, you can ask questions or comment anytime. I say as I take another drink of my protein shake. What are y'all drinking? It's the morning still, and the coffee's gone. Always a sad moment. I always feel like Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean. It says, but why is the rum gone? But why is the coffee gone? Every day. Alright, funny girl that Now, where are we headed to? A little interlude moment. It's gonna sound a little familiar. Right? We have this. We're doing it on the 4th now. We're up in F. And we're doing that Lydian left. With the words, bonjour, like we were doing before. Bonjour, good day, how is your family? Bonjour, good day, how is your wife? So we're learning a little bit more about some of the individual people in the town here. I need 6 eggs. Back to that A flat feel with the Lydian. Well seated, my friend. I say that to Alan Menken like he's my friend. I wish you were my friend. I would like to learn a lot from that man, but here we are. I need 6 eggs, that's too expensive. When I musical directed this show, I don't know, 2018, at a local high school, they thought that was the funniest line. I don't know why, but now I laugh every time I think of it, because they always broke up laughing. I need 6 eggs, that's too expensive. And then Belle sings, there must be more than this provincial. Why does that not feel right? Alright, I'm going to take that E out. You know, this book was printed a long time ago, and I think it's heavily reduced. Like I said, I've never played it before, so must be more than this provincial. See, take the other note out, it's fine. Life. Great. So what just happened there? We just used the music from the beginning with that Lydian feel and the modalities that we've already gone through, except for F. F was new, which makes it feel fresh on the ear, to string us from those little chorus moments into the next thing. Also what's happening, Belle's traveling through the town, and you can kind of get that feeling, right? Because the townspeople are jumping back and forth. This is not a group sing. This is man 1, woman 2, man 2, woman 3, man 3. Yes. Such lovely names for these people. Also, hard to cast this show. So many parts. Bonjour, good day. How is your family? Bonjour, good day. How is your wife? I need 6 eggs. That's too expensive. There must be more than this provincial life. We're back to this. But we're not with the baker this time. We're with someone else. Who are we with? Our favorite fellow, the bookseller. My favorite fellow. I enjoy him so much. And we have this lovely little scene. Belle, good morning. I've come to return the book I borrowed. Finished already? I couldn't put it down. Have you got anything new? Ha ha ha, not since yesterday. That's alright. I'll borrow this one. That one, but you've read it 3 times, or read it twice already. And we're gonna change our key here a little bit, back to our E flat tonality. Because why not? Still feels whimsical, right? Read it twice already. Well, it's my favorite. Daring sword fights, magic, far off places. Okay, so yeah, let's just say all the things that we really want. Spells. A prince in disguise. Right? Just setting up the thing, right? I mean, it's clear to us now, but, you know, watching this movie for the first time when it came out, it's like, ooh, that sounds fun. Is that what's gonna happen? And like, well, the sword fight, isn't really a sword fight. But, like, yes! Yeah, essentially that is what happens, right? And then we have our lovely bookseller saying, if you like it all that much, then it's yours. But, sir, I insist. Well, thank you. Great. So we learned a lot about Belle in this little moment while we're hearing this da-da-da-da, which is going to come back later when she's at the castle and she's midst of this stuff. So, again, what do we learn about Belle? She comes to the bookshop all the time and she borrows books. It's not a library. He's a bookseller. That I find interesting. But maybe is showing us that perhaps she doesn't have the money to buy the books, but she's obviously a big reader. Makes me wonder, because the rest of the town does not seem very keen on people reading, how does this guy stay in business? Plot holes in Beauty and the Beast. Here we are, friends. I'm like already calling things out. Anywho. So, clearly she not only reads a lot of books, she has favorites. And her absolute favorite one has all these fun fantasy elements in it. And we learn that the bookseller is just so giving. Not only does he let her read, he gives her the book. And she is kind of taken aback by his kindness and clearly is someone who doesn't want to be taking advantage consciously. And she thanks him, and that's great. What do we do here? We go all the way back to do another verse of townsfolk. We have, look, there she goes, that girl is so peculiar. I wonder if she's feeling well. Ooh, insult, right? We have that. With a dreamy, far-off look, and her nose stuck in a book, is how that is usually sung. But it is written technically in the music, and her nose stuck in a book, which also works. But when we say, and her nose stuck in a book, I think part of that is for the double S. Well, the Z sound of nose into the S sound of stuck. So, nose stuck in a, nose stuck. Hard to hear, right? But also that idea of ba-da-da-da-ba-da-bum kind of draws more attention to it as well. Like, here's one of the things that's really peculiar about her to the town. She's always reading. Smart women. Or skeptical of smart women. Ah, what a glorious progressive town this was. And her nose stuck in a book. What a puzzle to the rest of us is Belle. So puzzled to the rest of us. So they're interested. I'm not sure why, besides the fact that they think she's pretty. But, that's about all. Belle. Now we finally get back to Belle singing, and with this is a piece of music that is going to be utilized here, and then utilized again later on in something there that wasn't there before, when she's singing about how, I guess she's developing feelings for the beast, and she's not sure what those feelings are, but this is something about, like, possibility. There's something in the sound of this. When we move into F, feel, here. I mean, we're still in the key of C, but we're shifting to F. We have this, oh, isn't this amazing? It's my favorite part because you'll see. Here's where she meets Prince Charming. Oh my gosh, this book is old. But you won't discover that it's him till chapter 3. It's so good. Seriously, this music is glorious. It feels so lush, and there's not a ton happening in it, honestly. But it's so good. Okay, so this, again, whenever we feel like we're leaving our main town moments, before we came to F, whoops, right, for those bonjours while she's walking through the town, we're not doing that. We're not doing the Lydian feel. Not this moment in time. But we have come back to F here, and it's a sweet descending pattern, right? F, E minor, D minor, G, E minor, A minor, A major, A major major 2, A major 9. Again, we're taking that, pulling over the D, a C over D, which always feels like we're building to something, right? When you take the second and put the root over it, and then a D major feel. So again, we're really playing with tonality here to feel like we're going on a journey all the time throughout this song. And now, again, with that same feeling, but we're pulling in a B flat chord, right? We're taking the lowered 7th of the key. Actually, the first time I guess it's G minor in this particular score, but the feeling is still of the B flat over the C. Feels like we're going somewhere, we're growing to something, but that we're not there yet, like we're close, right? Which really mimics what we're talking about. As she's going through this lovely book and the sheep are eating the page out of the book. That always made me mad as a child. I was like, wait, that's her favorite book? Stop eating her book! And you just learned a little bit more about me. So this, oh, isn't this amazing? It's my favorite part because you'll see, here's where she meets Prince Charming, but she won't discover that, Tim, until chapter 3. Again, with this book just being her own story, it's lovely, right? But one more time through this set of music because it's just so freaking pretty. Oh, isn't this amazing? It's my favorite part because you'll see. That's the D. We're on the second in the bass, and we are still on the tonic here. It's got that that build, and now we're adding that bum 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 bum. Right? It's got that lovely rhythmic build now too. As we have this happening in the melody, discover that it's him till chapter 3. Kind of feels fanfare-ish, but in a fantasy way, while we're doing this thing, which I think just feels delightfully appropriate. Discover that it's him till chapter 3. Again with that E-flat 7 tonality here. And that, we haven't quite lifted out of the town yet, right? We're always coming back down to the tonic. And then we're going to come back around and we're going to have more of the women singing. Couple of individuals, women, shopkeeper, and then we'll come back around to the townsfolk. Back on our main melody. Always back to C. Now, it's no wonder that her name means beauty. Her looks have got no parallel. But behind that fair facade, I'm afraid she's rather odd. Okay. She's pretty, but she's weird, right? We have said that before. We're saying it again, now a little more blatantly. These people are judgy. Very different from the rest of us. She's... Oh, right, sorry. Now there's a mini extension this time around because we have to set up for the big extension at the end. She's nothing like the rest of us. Yes, different from the rest of us is Belle. So instead of ending down this time, we're still going to end on the tonic, but we're going up. So, very different from the rest of us. Nothing like the rest of us. Different from the rest of us is Belle. But it's basically the same thing chord-wise. And now we get our lovely... It's so good every time it comes around. If that's not an earworm to you, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what your life is. I have to plug in my computer. Great. And wow, we have a lovely moment in the cartoon with a bird falling from the sky and LeFou not catching it. For some reason, this one scene they didn't write in this score. They have all the other words. They just don't have the LeFou Gaston scene. I'm not sure why. But we get to, and this is a fun little nugget. We get to shift our key signature for the first time, and we are going into B flat. So coming down. is the basis for another song that Gaston sings, which it is. Me? Right? The song is me? I don't know. Now, under this new feel of bravado that Gaston has, before we actually sing this moment, LeFou says to him, "You could get any girl in town." He says, "But I have my sights set on that one, the inventor's daughter." And LeFou goes to call her weird, and then Gaston says that she's the best, and don't I deserve the best? Like, oh boy, we learn a lot about this guy real fast. There is no guess what is happening with him. Then, over this new feel of music in this new key, Gaston sings, "Right from the moment that I met her, saw her, I said she's gorgeous and I fell. Here in town there's only she who is beautiful as me." They don't actually film the whole chord. Why is that? So I'm making plans to woo and marry Belle. And then we're going to transition back into our town music, but with the silly girls! Okay, so what do we learn about Gaston? He's got a lower voice. We're having him sing this low, big bravado feel. Right from the moment that I met her, saw her, I said she's gorgeous and I fell. Physically? No, he would never. Here in town, there's only she who is beautiful as me. Okay, well, Belle hasn't called herself beautiful, but he's now called himself and her beautiful. So I'm making plans to woo and marry Belle. Okay, plot point, and also we get a lot about the characters super fast. Great writing, good work, guys. Then we have our silly girls. Look, there he goes, isn't he dreamy? Whoop. Monsieur Gaston, oh, he's so cute. Be still. Just age, my lord. You would think that the glue would be dead after 20 years, but here we are. Be still, my heart, I'm hardly breathing. He's such a tall, dark, strong, and I'm chuckling because this transition, every time. Handsome brute, because we're just gonna suddenly pop back into C major. It does feel weird every time, and every time I teach this bit of music, people are like, "What? Why? What?" And I get it. Totally get it. Such a tall, dark, strong, and handsome brute. Now we're gonna have all of our crossing over with the bonjour. Right, all that stuff we set up at the beginning, where bonjour is going to come in and out of other things happening with that ascending Lydian feel. We're gonna have bonjour, good day. You call this bacon, some cheese, 1 pound. I'll get the knife. Just in case you didn't know what these words were, because I didn't until I looked at the score. This bread, it's stale. Madame's mistaken. Okay, that's happening. Well, there's also lines being shouted and other random little things. Gaston is saying, so it's bonjour, pardon, good day, may we. You call this bait, what lovely grapes, some cheese, 10 yards, 1 pound, excuse me. I'll get the knife, please let me through. He sings, Gaston sings that one. Those fish, it's stale, they smell, madame's mistaken. So it's a lot of just chaos. We're learning about the town, but we're doing it in a fun, crossover, whimsical way throughout this little moment here. Where are we to? Madame's mistaken. Then Belle cuts back through all the noise. There must be more. I love that transition. More than this provincial life. Okay, we kind of did that before. Ba da 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 da. But now we're going back up with it, right? There must be a more than this provincial life. Gaston takes over because obviously he loves talking over women. He does it all day, every day. You watch, I'm a good. Is that where we go to? Yeah. Watch, I'm going to make Belle my wife. And then the animation here is just a delight. And it's chaotic. Where do we go back to? We go back to the double sign, everybody. That's how intricate this song is. And we are back to townsfolk singing. Everybody together. Look, there she goes, the girl who's strange, but special, a most peculiar mademoiselle. It's It's a pity and a sin that she doesn't quite fit in. We've taken it to morality now? It's a pity and a sin that she doesn't fit in? Right? We're learning so much more about these people. So much so that, do we ever really need to see the town again? No, I don't think any of us would be mad about leaving the ordinary world that is this town. And good thing, because we do. Well, except for the mob, of course, because that's casual. Doesn't quite fit in. She is, because she's because she really is. My goodness, Michael. Because she really is a funny girl. A beauty, but a funny girl. We're again with that funny girl idea, and now we go to our double coda. Coda number 2. And we get a nice measure of 3-2 here because, why? It's fun. Really is a funny girl. That, and finally we have a chord here. Obviously there's only one of me and I don't know polyphonics, so I'm going to sing one note. That Belle. That's the song. Beautifully constructed. Truly wonderful. We learned so much so fast that what the music does makes it feel like we are in that whimsical place that started quiet and beautiful, like this is a place where some people would like to live. And then we very quickly learned from Belle that, okay, it's not for me. And then we very quickly learned from all the people, she's not for them, right? We learn about Belle's character a little bit through her interactions with the people in the town. We learn about her love of books and reading. We learn about the people's disdain for people who read, especially women. We learn about the kind of book that is her favorite, this fantasy journey that she's about to go on and doesn't know yet. We learn about Gaston and LeFou and Gaston's bravado and this plot point that he plans to marry her, which is clearly going to be important, and that everyone recognizes that she's pretty, including Gaston, and everyone also recognizes that Gaston is pretty, including himself. But Belle never says it. And then this want that just bursts out of her, there must be more than this provincial life, right? And then Gaston replies with, you're gonna be my wife, right? The conflict of the beginning of the show, which leads us to that inciting incident that sets her off to the castle, to the special world, it's all built in, baked in right here, along with the ideas of whimsy in the music, with the Lydian feel, whether it's going up or down because we're grounded, with this changing of tonality, always cycling back around to C, but having these moments of freshness, whether it's the a gorgeous melody that is clearly being planted to come back, and it does, or that again also comes back later. There is so much packed into this opening number that by the end we know exactly where we are, with whom we are, why we're there, why we want to get out, what we want to do, and who these people are at their core, whether we're going to leave them behind or move forward, and we've seeded plot points. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Again, this may be the best opening number of any musical ever. Whenever I go to write a complicated opening number, which not all opening numbers are complicated, but whenever I have to do all of this kind of work in one place, this is always my go-to example. I always come to Belle. The construction is fantastic. And I never lose anything out of the feeling of the song by the main melodic sections being 15, 16 bars, right? Some people may look at that and say that's not enough time to establish things, but clearly it's plenty of time. And that's 16 bars of cut time, right? Da 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 da. The melody, the way that we use the tonality changes to feel like we're going somewhere, but we never fully get to go there. It's so good. So good. When I grow up, I want to write like that. I'm grown up, I get it. I will say also that the construction of this song, like as a structure, feels a little bit chaotic, but in a way that also feels correct, right? We are never sure where we're headed exactly, but we feel like we're in good hands. I mean, here, let's break down what the structure is real fast. So we've got our opening with our instrumental in our verse, our little interstitial music to intro us to the bonjour, 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 bonjour. Then we have, let's call our main section. We've got our main section, dialogue, main section. Our interstitial comes back. Bonjour, good day, how's your family, all that stuff, okay? Ending with the first time through that, must be more than this provincial life, right? We don't go back to our main section yet. We actually have more dialogue, okay? So this was dialogue, interstitial, dialogue. Then back to our main song moment, okay? Which I believe takes us to a coda. Yes, which takes us to our faraway place moment, the oh, isn't this amazing? So we're always coming back to that main section idea, right? Because that is what happens next. Now it's no wonder that her name means beauty, right? We get this one. Then, 4 sections. Oh, then we get a scene with Gaston LeFou. Then we get our main music again with Gaston. Then we get our interstitial again with the Silly Girls. Then we get, after such a tall, dark, strong, and handsome brute. That's because we're going back into the crossover interstitial, back in C, right? So that's 7 other sections over here. Then our double sign, so we're headed straight back to one more of our main section. And this is with that final extension. So we've got 6 of our main section. Once after the verse and once we're into the song proper, with 7 other things happening. Yeah, that's complicated. But again, my question to you is, does it work? Oh, hey David! From Paris this time. You know, I'm jealous of the way you travel, my friend. I got to step up my game. My goal, and now you're all going to hear it, is to at some point do a live stream from Paris. That would be great. Ooh, that would be so fun. Okay, so, what do you think about Belle? What are we feeling about opening numbers? Let me know in the comments, or in the chat if you're here with me live. In the meantime, while I take a sip of my protein shake, which, this is not a sponsored thing, by the way, but if you happen to be watching, I'll take a sponsorship. Just want to throw out there that the Musical Theater Writing Collective is great. We are a lovely, wonderful bunch of people, and we like having more lovely and wonderful people with us. So come on in, come join us. We do all sorts of fun stuff. Actually, we have some events coming up. In about a week, we have the next reading in our reading series. We have our last quarterly cabaret of the year will be at the end of October. I'll mention that one again. The theme is villain songs, so if you got a villain song, come on in, come join us. We will be doing, I think, two readings in September, 1 in October for sure. That one's a closed reading though. Yeah, we got plenty of events going on. Oh, the next round of the Did It Accountability Program will be starting mid-October. Lots of stuff. Come on in, come join us. And yeah, I'll put a comment with that. Monday is Disneyland Paris. I want to hit all the Disney parks. I've been to Disney World. That's the only place I've been. But I want to go to all of them at some point. It's part of my overarching goal for myself personally. But here we are. We have about 10 minutes, friends. So if you want to ask me anything, you can head until Ask Me Anything moment, or I can just stand here and look pretty for all of you. I have no problem doing that. Because I just got a haircut, and it looks nice. But While you're typing out your questions or comments or thoughts, I will just say that, yes, I did just tout this as being phenomenal, and it is. Your opening numbers do not need to be that. You can just do a song, like a standard old song that tells us about the world. It could be even in unison if you want it to be. It could be really anything. As long as we are learning what we need to learn to move into the world with the characters and the story that we are beginning, great. Just set us up set up for us what we need to know. There's a lot that we need to know for Beauty and the Beast, and in that original film, they only had, 75-ish minutes to do it? All of it? So they had a prologue and an opening number, and I'm glad they did. It was super necessary, because 6 minutes into the, 6 minutes into the VHS tape, yep, there's my age. Although I hold, those VHS tapes are great. And those special, plastic boxes. Ugh. Old school Disney. 6 minutes in, we know everything we need to know. Then we get to sit back and enjoy the story. Focused highly on Belle. It's lovely. It's wonderful. Well, I don't see any questions coming in, so I'll give it another minute here, and then if we got nothing, I'll sign off. That's fine. That's just fine. The lovely day here in New York. I feel like crispness in the air as summer is turning to fall. And I love summer, but fall's my favorite. So I'm not mad about that changeover coming around. Makes me happy. Give me those warm tingles. Chill, well, maybe not warm. Those cool air tingles, vibes. You know what I mean. I'm so eloquent this morning. Alright, everybody. Well, you don't seem to have any questions today, and that is just fine. You always have another shot to ask me on our next live stream, which will be in 2 weeks. Let me know if you're enjoying these song analysis videos. I'm having a lot of fun, just kind of off the cuff, diving in and doing these. But if they are useful to you, let me know. If they're interesting to you, let me know. And if they are neither useful nor interesting to you, also let me know. I don't want to be just doing these for my own pleasure. I want to make sure that I am providing value to all of you. Though I do see David has a question, so I will wait for the question. Should Belle have beat Beauty and the Beast, the song, for the Oscar? I don't think they would have put it up for the Oscar. But I don't know. I love Beauty and the Beast. Oh boy. Yeah, that song is a stellar song. The lyric is really not that we're breaking this song down today. If I'm not, nearing the hour. But the beauty of this song is intense. As a child, this was one of the only songs that would make me cry. I don't know what that says about me, but the beauty of this song is intense. I don't know, David. I don't know that a song like Belle could have won an Oscar, but a song like this definitely deserved to win. In my opinion, I think it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's got a weird structure to it, which I've talked about in my strange song structures video, Think Outside the Box, which you should. You should always think outside the box. But one thing about this one that I think is interesting is the lyric is really more of a poem than anything else. Tale as old as time, true as it can be, barely even friends, and somebody bends unexpectedly. Just a little change, small to say the least. Both a little scared, neither one prepared, Beauty and the Beast. Ever just the same, ever a surprise. Ever as before, ever just as sure as the sun will rise. Tale as old as time, tune as old as song, bittersweet and strange, finding you can change, learning you were wrong. Certain as the sun rising in the east, Tales all his time, song is all his rhyme, Beauty and the Beast. Tales all his time, song is all his rhyme, Beauty and the Beast. Very simple, beautiful. Doesn't really move the story forward. It's kind of a moment of rest, but not in the typical way of perhaps a charm song or a comedy song. It's just a moment to enjoy watching the two of them come together in all these beautiful and wonderful ways. Yes, indeed, David. Have a lovely weekend. Enjoy Paris. Send me some pictures. And for all of you out there, let me know if you want a full deep dive into Beauty and the Beast at some point. The song or the show. We could always break down the show at some point. Otherwise, my friends, thank you for being here today. I really appreciate all of you. Again, let me know if these videos are useful to you, these live streams. And otherwise, I will plan to see all of you in 2 weeks when we do another live stream. In the meantime, hey, you know where to find me. Musical Theater Writing Collective, Instagram, anywhere here, YouTube's, all the things. All right, everybody. Cheers. Bye.